Part 2 of our story begins when Famicia was reminiscing about her past, or when someone was narrating her past while her father sat outside the house trimming a piece of wood. Suddenly, his wife was blessed with a newborn, bringing immense joy to the father. He quickly rushes inside, opens the door, and is informed by the midwife that the mother and the newborn are both healthy and free of any complications. The father rejoices greatly, thanking the midwife for her assistance. They decide to name the baby Famicia, a name that brings much joy to the mother. Over the years, the scene transitions to the Famicia. Growing up, we see her running around the house, calling her brother, who has a meal prepared by her. The family, including the father, sits together to eat, and even their dog joins them. Famicia, in her haste, drinks her water quickly, leading her brother to advise her to chew her food more carefully. The father then emphasizes the importance of Famicia eating plenty to grow quickly and be strong, warning her against being frail, as people may take advantage of her and bully her. Later, Famicia returns home, where her mother welcomes her. Her brother advises her to use magic quickly, but her mother intervenes, assuring her that there's no need to rush. She encourages Famicia that everyone evolves at their own pace and acknowledges her impressive skills in helping others. Famicia expresses that this was not the advice given to her when she was 4, as she had always wished to hurry and unlock her supernatural abilities. Famicia then prepares a meal for the family, placing their favorite dish, a big bowl of red soup, on the table. The father delightedly credits Famicia, who possesses the soothing skill of contributing to the preparation, and promises that it will alleviate his fatigue quickly. The family enjoys the meal together, portraying a wonderful picture of collaboration, joy, and shared smiles. Later in the evening, everyone was busy with their individual tasks, yet they all gathered in one place. As the father updated them about the house, he mentioned that some final touches needed to be completed by the end of the month. Referring to their new home, we then see Famicia handling furniture and beautiful wooden pieces, while her mother, skilled in sewing, works on a bridal dress for her brother, who is a shoemaker. The mother tears up, and Famicia asks her what's wrong. The mother reveals that she remembered Famicia, and her younger sister will eventually leave for another house. When they get married, time is passing swiftly and soon the day will come. The father comments on how fast time flies as Famicia turns 5. He advises her that children at this age start shouldering responsibilities, and her unique skill will always find a place for her to work and earn her next meal. The mother adds that skills and talents are God-given, but it's crucial to nurture them through daily practice and continuous learning. Famicia's brother with yellow hair chimes in, confirming the importance of skills. He mentions that with 3 stars, like his own skill, you're safe, but with just 1 star, like Famicia's lower skill, you might face elimination. When Famicia asks them to stop talking, she huddles with her family. Her brother advises her to choose her skill wisely. Famicia expresses her desire to be a monster tamer, making friends with dragons, sheep, snakes, and all kinds of creatures. Her family laughs, and her sister smiles. The father sits beside her and emphasizes that skills are divine gifts and may or may not be granted. He gives her a wooden horse, symbolizing her potential to navigate this world. However, he warns that God can choose to grant or withhold these abilities. As they rejoice in Famicia's decision, there's a knock on the door. At this late hour, they wonder who could be visiting. The mother stood up to open the door and found it to be Miss Luba.
ルーバ様。夜分申し訳ありません。そろそろフェミシアがスキルを授かる頃かと思いまして、幸運をお祈りに参りました。
She apologized for coming at such a late hour, but realized it was time to impart skills to Famicia. The mother welcomed Miss Luba into the house, introducing her to the little girl Famicia and praising her intelligence. And she started speaking at a young age. However, she expressed concern about Famicia sometimes saying peculiar things, prompting Miss Luba's visit. Miss Luba was surprised and questioned the mother about the peculiar things Famicia said. The mother explained that her husband thought she was making too much of it, but she worried about whether Famicia could use her supernatural abilities or not. Referring to magic, Famicia's mother then asked Miss Luba if magic exists in this world. Miss Luba confirmed it, bringing great joy to Famicia. Miss Luba was asked about certain things that Famicia wasn't fully aware of regarding creation and existence. She assured them not to worry, mentioning that the child would become exceptionally intelligent. When Miss Luba, while acknowledging that she doesn't personally believe in such things, decided to bring some happiness to the girl by reading her fortune, Famicia was instructed to fetch a new candle. Famicia questioned the concept of fortune reading, and Miss Luba clarified that it relies on the unseen, known only to God. Despite not fully believing in such practices, Miss Luba intended to bring joy to Famicia by saying a few words, nothing more or less. As Miss Luba prepared for the fortune reading, she approached Famicia and asked if she had memories of her past life. Famicia was surprised by the question, and Miss Luba warned her that revealing such memories, even to her mother, could complicate matters. Famicia promised not to say anything again. After Miss Luba concluded some chants and statements, she informed them that it was done. The mother eagerly asked if Famicia saw the skill she would acquire, and Famicia replied that she had a 1-star skill, making it impossible for her to see other skills. In those moments, Famicia's brother confronted Miss Luba, accusing her of being a fraud, as only charlatans claim to know the unseen. This angered the father, and he reprimanded his son, urging him to be considerate of Famicia's feelings. The father was particularly upset and grabbed his son's ear, warning him to stop hurting Famicia emotionally. The next morning, Famicia underwent an initiation ceremony to strengthen her abilities. The man overseeing the ritual indulged in some superstitions, thinking they were true. However, he used his magic and informed them that Famicia possessed the skill of a beast tamer and the ability to earn monsters. Despite Famicia having no stars, the father doubted the accuracy of the man's magic, insisting that his daughter couldn't be without stars. The scene shifted to a bar, where the angry father resorted to heavy drinking, displaying erratic behavior. He vented his frustration, hitting the table with his hand and expressing disbelief at the idea of Famicia lacking stars. The mother tried to calm him down, advising him not to exaggerate. Later, in a fit of rage, the father destroyed a wooden horse with his foot, questioning Famicia's true identity. The mother, accused of dishonesty, broke down in tears. Famicia approached her to console her, but her brother intervened, shouting at her not to touch their mother. He forcibly dragged Famicia outside and commanded her to leave the house immediately. Heartbroken, Famicia ran out of the house while the family discussed the implications of a child without stars, considering it a disastrous omen. The man who performed the ritual warned him of impending disasters, and Famicia overheard the conversation from a distance. She fled. Some children threw stones at her, taunting her as someone without stars. And she ran into the distant forest, crying and questioning why this had happened. The situation worsened with rain pouring down, and Famicia found herself hungry and alone. Unable to return to the house, she gazed at it from afar. The circumstances took a turn for the worse as Famicia faced hunger and isolation with no refuge or insight. Then Famicia finds some fruits and eats them. Afterwards, she seeks refuge in a small cave from the intense rain, but the cold is too harsh. She breaks some sticks and twigs, then lights a fire to warm herself. She uses her strength twice until she loses consciousness. When she wakes up, she finds an old lady and Miss Luba beside her. Suddenly, Miss Luba appears and assures Famicia about her well-being. Miss Luba explains that Famicia seems to have less magical energy than most people and warns her that depleting her magical energy could endanger her life. Miss Luba offers Famicia a warm drink, which she eagerly consumes. Feeling much better, Miss Luba mentions that Famicia has limited magical energy and provides her with a magical bag and a book. The bag appears old, but can hold many things, and anything placed inside becomes small in the bag, and the book contains valuable knowledge that will be useful to Famicia. Famicia is astonished when Miss Luba talks about a journey, but Miss Luba explains that Famicia should explore neighboring towns and expand her horizons. Miss Luba advises Famicia not to force herself to continue traveling if she finds a place she wants to stay permanently. However, she should look for trustworthy people and be open with them about everything. Famicia wonders why Miss Luba is kind to her. Despite being without stars, Miss Luba laughs and says that she doesn't hate her, reassuring Famicia that everything hidden eventually comes to light. Famicia asks if Miss Luba hates her, and Miss Luba responds, "Why would I hate you? Everyone hates me as if I were without stars." Miss Luba informs Famicia that in ancient times, nobody possessed skills or stars. People lived happily without skills, and not having a skill was not a bad thing. Famicia becomes sad and questions why things have changed now. Miss Luba admits she doesn't know and wonders about the reason herself. The scene shifts 3 years later, and Famicia is scavenging through debris looking for anything useful. She starts collecting pieces of wood to kindle fires when needed. Suddenly, she discovers a blue potion, and after taking it, she becomes very happy. She had a fruitful day, collecting a substantial load. As Famicia sits by the river enjoying her meal, she wonders why Miss Luba hasn't visited recently. Concerned, she goes to the village and finds a large gathering in front of the church. Inside, she hears people talking about losing someone dear to them due to the cold. Famicia realizes it's Miss Luba and is shocked by the news. Later, Famicia overhears her father telling the village elder that she wasn't in the shelter and must have sensed their presence and fled. The village elder insists that they must act against this. An individual without stars shouldn't be allowed to stay in their world. Famicia is horrified, imagining the earth splitting open, and she envisions her family regretting her existence, wishing she was never born. From the other side, the village chief gathers all the residents and informs them that Miss Luba is crucial for their village. He attributes her death to a curse, stating that Miss Luba warned her about Famicia, the stollis and ostracized girl. The curse Miss Luba received was due to ignoring the warning about Famicia, who is now condemned and shunned by everyone. The village chief declares Famicia a disaster and a threat to the village. He urges the villagers to find her, stating that she must be captured and that they will kill her before she brings catastrophe to their village. The people start searching the forest with torches, looking for Famicia. She tries to escape, but the villagers corner her. She questions why she is being treated this way, emphasizing that she hasn't committed any wrongdoing. Famicia imagines her father preparing to strike her with a large hammer, intending to kill her. Suddenly, Famicia wakes up, realizing it was all a nightmare. She is terrified, her heart pounding with fear. Looking at the sky, she notices a wall sticking to her hand, fearing it might consume her. Designed for her fate, she contemplates her unwanted existence as a child. In the morning, Sora attempts to wake her, and she realizes her wound has completely healed. Sora, who now can speak, utters unruly anime, making Famicia ecstatic that he can speak now. She thanks Sora for healing her and expresses gratitude for him. Despite being an unwanted child, Famicia decides to live a bit longer as she feels content when she's with Sora. I appreciate you viewing my anime recap, Unruly Family. Please let me know what you think about the second part of The Weakest Tamer began a journey to pick up trash by liking, sharing, subscribing, and leaving a comment.